Hello, welcome to the Legacy Canine Training Podcast. I am your host, Teresa, the owner and operator of Legacy Canine Training. So today's topic is going to be reactivity. It's a very common thing with dogs these days, and it's one of my specialties. So let's talk about it. So you got a reactive dog, right? Most people have no idea what to do with the reactive dog. And let me just say, side note, there are a lot of people out there, trainers too, that are misdiagnosing dogs and confusing aggression with reactivity, and they're two separate things. But that's going to be another video for another day. Reactivity. So basically, a reactive dog is just an overstimulated dog. That's it. They're triggered and they are overreacting to the stimulation of that trigger. So basically what you want to do with your dog, it's two parts. It's correcting the behavior and working on stimulation control. Because stimulation control is basically teaching your dog how to handle high stress levels, right? So when they're triggered by something, if we can get that stimulation under control, they can think and respond instead of overreacting to it, right? And that's what we want. And how you do that is very simple. So what I do, I'll have my dog and I'll just make them sit and wait as much as possible, as often as possible, whether it's for food, we're outside on a walk and they potty and I gotta pick up their stuff. I'll command my dog to sit and wait while I do it, or while they're waiting for their food, they have to sit and wait and be patient. Whenever I just feel like doing it, just sit and wait, and I'll tell you when to get up. And what that does is that teaches your dog to fight that urge to want to get up. And every time they try to get up, you should be using a correction collar, training collar, whether that be a prong collar, gentle lead, whatever it is. I will always generally go with the prong collar, but to each his own. Do your thing. So basically, every time they try to get up, correct, sit down. Every time until you say, okay, release, or whatever your command is for them to, get up and do whatever. But do that as much as possible, and you'll see that, okay, your dog can start to handle things much more. They'll be able to handle stressful situations much more. And then the second part, as I mentioned, is correction. Every time your dog reacts to a trigger, correct. But sometimes you have to not just tell your dog no. It should be no, not that, but this. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes the dog just does not know, and they're like, okay, well, if this ain't it, then what am I supposed to do? So you got to be mindful of that too. Like, even if it's just like, okay, so you command your dog to leave it, right? They're not leaving it. Pop that collar. And then they finally leave it and you say, okay, let's go. So you're telling them, stop doing that and let's go do this instead. Does that make sense? It's just simple things like that. You just got to watch what you're communicating to your dog. But correct that behavior and work on the stimulation control and you'll be good. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to fix your dog overnight, because it's not. It takes time. Trust me, it takes time. But you just got to stay consistent with it. Every single time your dog does something that you don't want them to do, correct the behavior. This goes past just reactivity. This is with anything. Anytime your dog is exhibiting behavior that you don't like and you don't want, do not allow it. Correct it. Okay? I think that's pretty much it. Just stay consistent, be patient, and understand that sometimes, just like with humans, like, we have bad days. There's times when we know better but don't do better. And the same thing applies to your dog. Like, there's times when, they know better, but they don't want to do better. They're they are their own individual people or individual selves as well. So you have to respect that. But still understand that you are the boss, and always demonstrate that to your dog, okay? All right. Hope that was helpful. I'll be back soon. Hello, welcome to the Legacy Canine Training Podcast. I am your host, Teresa, the owner and operator of Legacy Canine Training. So today's topic is